Hey all, hope you all are doing good and welcome back to My Life Takes. There are so many things in our life we only learn through trial and error, and yes, a whole lot of mess ups. And trust me, I have had my share too. From my daily experiences over the years, learning from others, and doing tons of researches, I've gathered some truly helpful kitchen tips that I thought were worth sharing. That will not only make your time in the kitchen easier, but also help you handle your everyday tasks more smoothly. So let's begin with the tips. If you have ever skipped cooking this vegetable because of its strong bitter taste, here's a simple trick that will help you reduce its bitterness. Once you have sliced the bitter gourd, sprinkle in some salt over it and let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes. The salt draws all the excess moisture and bitterness, and you will see how much water it has released. Just drain off this water and give the bitter gourd a quick rinse to remove the excess salt. This step really helps to mellow down the bitterness, making the dish so much more enjoyable, especially if you're cooking it for someone who usually finds this vegetable too strong. Give it a try and you might be surprised how tasty it turns out to be. Peeling boiled eggs can be tricky at times, especially when the shell sticks and some of the egg comes off with it. But here's a super simple trick that makes peeling a breeze. Once your eggs are done boiling, immediately transfer them to a bowl of ice cold water and let it sit there for 10 minutes. This part is the key. The cold water helps to cool down the eggs quickly and makes the shell loosen up. Once they are cooled, you will see how easily the shell just slides off. So the next time you're boiling eggs, especially if you're prepping a batch, try this cold water trick. If you forget to soak your rajma or any pulses overnight and only remembered it in the morning and were planning to have it for lunch, here's the easiest method to soak them instantly without adding soda. First, boil the rajma for 10 minutes and cover and let it sit for 30 to 40 minutes. After that, just drain and rinse with fresh water and pressure cook as usual. This simple hack softens any kind of hard pulses like rajma, chole, black beans, just like how you soak them overnight. So the next time you forget to soak your pulses or any lentils, just give this hack a try. In most Indian kitchens, cooking with pressure cookers are common. But one problem that we all face is the water spilling out, which not only messes up the cooker but sometimes can mess up the entire stove. So here's what you can do. Before placing the lid, just add a few drops of oil around the valve area and to whatever you're boiling, whether it's dal, rice or anything that foams up. Then cover and cook as usual. The oil prevents the water from escaping through the valve, keeping the stove clean and spill free. Peeling garlic can be a bit of pain, especially when you're short on time and you have to peel lots of them, especially while you're meal prepping, like when you're making your ginger garlic paste or any other paste. So one of the easiest hack I have tried and that really works for me is to just soak the garlic in hot water for about 5 minutes. Don't worry, it won't cook the garlic, it will just soften the skin and makes it easier to peel. So once you take them out, you will see how easily the skin slides right off. If you use peanuts often while cooking or snacking, here's how you can peel the skin without any mess. Just dry roast the peanuts until the skin starts to crack, just like this. Then while they are still warm, place them in a clean cotton cloth or towel and gently rub with your hands. The skin comes off so easily this way, and the cloth helps to keep the mess in one place. The trick here is to not let the peanuts cool down completely, because once they are cool, the skin sticks back and becomes harder to remove. So once you are done, you can give the peanuts a little toss to get rid of the remaining loose skin, and see how easily the skin peels off and without making your kitchen counter messy. Tip number 7 is how to open a tight seal jar. Does this happen to you? This is the most common problem I face at my home, especially with new jars or when my husband closes the lid really tight. Sometimes the lid is so tight that I just can't open it. So the simplest trick I use is to use my hairdryer or my kitchen lighter and gently heat the lid for about 30 seconds, moving the heat around the edges. The heat actually helps the metal to expand, which will loosen it up and makes it way easier to open it. Over time, your mixer or grinder blades can start to loosen their sharpness, but here's a simple way to keep them working like new. Once in a while, grind a handful of rock salt or coarse sea salt in a dry jar for about 30 seconds to a minute. The coarse salt helps to clean and sharpen the blades gently. Once you are done, just wipe off the jar clean and you will notice the difference. If mixer jars are left for too long after grinding, the residue dries up and becomes tough to clean, especially around the blades. The easiest way to avoid this is to not let them dry out. Right after grinding, add a little water to pour out any leftover gravy, then do a second rinse with some more water and a drop of dish soap. Give it a quick spin and it will loosen up all the stuck bits, even from those tricky spots near the blades, without any scrubbing. Then just rinse it off, and trust me, whether it's you or your maid cleaning up, you both will be glad you did this. Over time, kitchen sinks can start smelling and clogging because of the food bits and grease. Here's an easy hack you can do once in a week to keep your sink fresh and drains clear. Pour quarter cup of baking soda with half cup of white vinegar and smear the rest of it around the sink to clean up the whole sink. What it does is baking soda breaks down the grime and smell while the vinegar dissolves the grease in the sink. Then let it sit for about 15 minutes. During this time, you can do the other chores in the kitchen. And then after 15 minutes, pour down hot water to flush this down. And that's it. Your sink will look shiny and smell great. If you're someone like me who hates chopping onions because it makes you cry, here's what you can do. Before you start chopping, just keep the onions in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes. I usually do this during my meal prep, and yes, it's absolutely safe to keep the peeled onions in the fridge for a few days. The cold temperature slows down the release of those strong gases that usually makes your eyes water. The other way is to soak the peeled onions in water for 10 minutes before you chop them. So the next time you're chopping or cooking, try either of these tricks, and trust me, your eyes will thank you. To avoid curd from curdling in curries, always whisk the curd really well to make it smooth. This is the key because smooth, lump-free curd mixes into the gravy evenly and doesn't form sudden lumps that can split. Then before adding the curd, lower the flame, or it's even better to switch off the flame, because if you add curd into a boiling gravy, the sudden heat shock can make it split, and letting it combine over gentle heat really helps. Also, add it slowly while stirring continuously so it blends gently into the curry without curdling it. In most Indian kitchen, tempering is a part of our everyday cooking, whether it's dal, sambar or any curry. But the one thing we all face is the splattering of the seeds, which not only leaves tiny oil spots all over the stove but sometimes on our hands and face as well. A simple trick to avoid this is to add a pinch of salt to the hot oil before adding any other ingredient. The salt helps to control the splatter and keeps the tempering from flying all over the place. So try this the next time you prepare your tadka and you will notice the difference. Keeping greens like coriander fresh for longer can be tricky because moisture makes them rot faster. So before storing it, make sure the leaves are completely dry and avoid washing them. Instead, trim off the roots and wrap the greens in dry paper towel or cotton cloth. The paper towel helps it to absorb the excess moisture and keeps them dry. For curry leaves or mint leaf, I separate the leaves and store them in bottles lined with paper towels. If stored like this, they last for 2 to 3 weeks. Just make sure the leaves are fully dry before storing them. This method works great for most leafy greens and helps them keep them fresh for much longer. Fresh chilies can turn soft and moldy in just a few days. So to make them last longer, I wash them first and dry it out completely, then remove the stem before storing it, because the stem holds moisture that speeds up the spoilage. Then I store them in a container lined with paper towel. The paper towel soaks up any excess moisture, keeping the chilies fresh and crisp for up to 3 weeks. Keeping kitchen scissors handy in your kitchen is super useful for quick chopping. It gives you better control to cut small veggies like this in different sizes and is also so much safer than using a knife. Also, when you only need to cut small items like chilies or herbs, pulling out those chopping boards and knife can feel like too much work, especially when it adds up to the cleanup later. Instead, keeping kitchen scissors lets you snip them straight into the dish, keeping things simple, quick and mess-free. Bay leaves have a strong natural aroma that repels insects and pests. Adding a few dry bay leaves to your containers of flour, rice and pulses helps to keep your pantry staples fresh, dry and pest-free for weeks and with no much effort and all natural. So try this out and let me know if it works for you. A well-organized kitchen isn't just about cleaning, it's also about smart storage. One common mistake we all make is using random containers of all shapes and sizes. Round containers might look good, but they actually waste a lot of space in the fridge and cabinets. So switching to square and rectangular containers makes a huge difference because they fit side by side and also stacking becomes easy, making the most of the space. Also, while storing the leftovers, I prefer using glass containers so that I can reheat the food and also serve it directly without transferring them to different dishes, making it convenient for cleaning. Generally, when we use small chopping boards that aren't very heavy, you will notice they often slip while you are chopping. To prevent this, you can place a slightly damp paper towel or a cloth underneath your chopping board. The damp towel grips the countertop and holds the board firmly in one place so it won't slide around while you chop. We all love papads, but deep frying them usually means using a lot of oil, and reusing the same oil again and again isn't really healthy. So you can either microwave them, or if you're frying them, fry them in a small deep kadai and pour in just enough oil to cover the papads. The papads we use are quite big, so I cut them into smaller pieces that will fit better and fry evenly. And the funny part here is it actually feels like you are eating more papads than usual, but you will be eating less unless you keep taste testing like I do. So this way I use less oil and can always fry them in fresh oil without wastage. And that's all for today's video. I really hope you liked the video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what you would love to see in my future videos, because your suggestion helps me create content you actually enjoy watching. So take care, and we'll see you all soon with a new video. Bye.